The story of imaginary numbers. Once upon a time, there was a farmer working in his field. He saw a floating eye. He said. Oh, heck. He tried to kill it with his scythe, but he somehow missed. The next day, he saw two of them, and he thought, oh no, this is bad. They looked very negative. And he said to himself, this is a really negative one. But still, he couldn't hit it with his scythe. It was as if they were imaginary. The third day, he saw three of them, and he thought, I am doomed. What am I going to do? But the fourth day, when he looked up and he saw four floating eyes, he knew he was done for. Two negative ones. But then something really strange happened. They turned positive. And poof, they were gone. He ran to the town and he said to his friend, I saw four eyes and it turned into one. And his friend said, you're imagining things. All right, here's the meaning of the story. I is just I. Nothing can happen to it. It's just the imaginary number. If you think about it as if it were static electricity, imaginary numbers have to do with electricity, but we're going to simplify it a little bit and just imagine it as static electricity. If you have two eyes together, they cancel. They become a negative charge. If you have three eyes together, two of them cancel and become a negative one. So it's like these two right here cancel, they become a negative one, and you have an eye left over. So it's negative 1 times I, which is negative I. If you have four eyes together, they cancel in groups of two. This group becomes negative 1. This group becomes negative 1. So you can say these two cancel and become negative 1. This cancels and becomes negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. You could look at it as if it were a pattern. So in the next slide, we're going to make as if it were graph paper, and we're going to say that we have a x-axis and an y-axis. So our y-axis is our y-axis, and our x-axis is just our x-axis. So we could say I is just I squared is going to be left, it's going to be negative 1. I cubed is going to be negative I. And I to the fourth is going to be 1. And it continues in this pattern, in a circle. So then you can say I to the fifth is just I because 4 of them cancel. I to the sixth is negative 1. I to the seventh is negative I. And I to the eighth, or I to the 12th, or any multiple of 4 is going to cancel. So you can say, all right, I've taken my exponent, I divide it by 4. My remainder tells me how many i's don't cancel. And that's what's left.